But, we were talking a lot about Harrison Barnes being a hot commodity right now. He's a hot mama right now. And he played really well again on Sunday. And Mike Brown mentioned him in the post-game presser, obviously. But he made particular note of the fact that he played him 39 minutes. He played a good deal, I guess you would say, against the Spurs. And Coach Brown said it makes him, quote, cringe a little bit because he wishes he didn't have to do that to him, and added that we needed it. We needed to get this win on the road. Doesn't the need for a backup wing kind of come to mind, maybe even more prominently than it has?
Yeah, I was I was just gonna say, like, why does it make you cringe? Why is it such a big deal he's playing 39 minutes a game? Because there's no one behind him to pick up the slack or to give him some minutes of rest. Harrison Barnes has been leading the Kings in minutes over the last several years. And yeah, it is funny because around this time each year, he seems to go in a slump because he's getting tired. He's playing heavy minutes. No one's there off the bench to give him good backup small forward minutes. And so, yeah, he usually goes in a slump around this time. So it is kind of funny that he's playing pretty well. But I don't know. It's usually around a couple weeks before the All-Star break. We are approaching that times. So it is very important. With the trade deadline coming up, I think a backup three is very important to try to obtain. Again, I'm a broken record. I think not keeping Kent Bazemore was a big mistake, especially after seeing Jimmy Maneke, get waived last week. So it would be nice to have someone to give Barnes his rest, because if he's going to start playing poorly, then the Kings are really going to start hurting. Like I said earlier in the podcast, their offense is already incredible, but it really took that next step because Barnes is really hot at the moment. But if Barnes goes back to kind of how he was at the beginning of the season and scoring, I don't know, less than 10 points on poor shooting percentages, you're going to see the offense struggle, and you're going to see the Kings start struggling because of it. He plays such an important role, although kind of like a quiet role. He's never like flashy or anything. He kind of like goes unnoticed, but you're going to start noticing a lot more when he starts going into the slump. So it is important that he gets his rest, and Monte McNair should be looking for a backup three for him, especially with a team on pace to make the playoffs like they are this year. You cannot go into the postseason with the tired Harrison Barnes. That's the last thing you want.
The Kings right now are kind of trying to fill that backup role with KZ Okpala and like Terrence Davis and other combinations of three-guard lineups and things like that, which maybe work for certain portions, but you're still seeing Harrison Barnes having to play a heavy load. Like, you can't leave him off the floor too much, it seems. I know that when the bench started playing well again about a week or two ago, Mike Brown said that he started playing Harrison Barnes a little bit more with the bench guys, or having a little more overlap there. It's saying there was a little more positive benefit for the guys coming off the bench having him out there. So there's that element of like, there's just a lot of that's required of him in terms of being a steady presence. So for whatever you get out of KZ Okpala, and you get good defense, and you've seen him kind of know his role and fit in on the floor lately, and he deserves all the praise for that. But, is he a two-way reliable backup that you can have a steady presence from off the bench? Like, not right now. And is Terrence Davis that? Physically, no. And, he's not always the most reliable scorer off the bench, especially if his minutes are spotty and he can't be in a rhythm. That's kind of tough for him.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of going based on matchups and things. And you also, I guess you can't forget PJ Dozier. I mean, his 10-day contract is coming to an end in a couple of days, but I would imagine he'd probably get picked up for another one to kind of continue to look at him. Maybe they've find gold there along the perimeter or something like that, but it seems like they have to go out and get something